The Shoreline Arts Alliance, dedicated to educating audiences, encouraging artists, engaging our youth, and enriching our community. The Shoreline Arts Alliance presents renowned arts events, including Future Choices Awards and Scholarships, a juried art exhibition for outstanding high school art students at the Lime Academy College of Fine Arts. Awards and scholarships are presented to the top artists selected by judges. Images. Images celebrates the art of photography and encourages excellence among photographic artists. It is the oldest annual statewide juried competition and exhibition open to all Connecticut photographers. Awards are presented. Shoreline's Top Talent, Scholarships in the Arts. A competition for Shoreline High School juniors and seniors of exceptional talent in creative writing, dance, instrumental music, vocal music, theater, and visual arts. Scholarships and mentorships are awarded to the winners. Shakespeare on the Shoreline, the most popular and well-recognized summer cultural event of the Shoreline community. Free admission on the historic Guilford Green to an evening of entertaining, engaging, and educational theater. In conjunction with Shakespeare on the Shoreline, we offer the Rising Star Theater Experience summer program for children 7 to 17, promoting creativity, critical thinking, cooperation, literary enrichment, and self-confidence. Tessie Walden Awards, New Voices in Children's Literature, a competition that encourages and nurtures the creation of exceptional quality books for children by unpublished Connecticut writers and illustrators. Awards are given to the winners. Shoreline Art Space Series and Special Events, a collaborative arts exhibition program showcasing the creativity, expression, and voices of Shoreline fine artists in a local gallery or public setting for free. In addition, we often produce special events from quartets to quintets to celebrated choir and a cappella groups. Member organizations. The Shoreline Arts Alliance provides an arts calendar at www.shorelinearts.org for up-to-the-minute happenings, weekly e-blasts called Arts Week at a Glance and Quotable and Notable, workshops, and a peer advisory network to our members. We have had great success for more than 3 decades and look forward to many more decades filled with outstanding cultural opportunities. To succeed, we need the support of foundations, corporations, local businesses, cultural agencies, and most importantly, individuals, families, and artists like you to make it happen. Your gifts support our mission to educate audiences, encourage artists, engage our youth, and enrich our community.
Hi, I'm Carly Callahan, and welcome to this late summer edition of Spotlight on the Arts, sponsored by Shoreline Arts Alliance. I am so happy to be back here with you today with 2 very, very special and extraordinary individuals here today to talk to us about a project that is just absolutely fascinating. I think you'll find it as fascinating as I have, and I'm so honored to be here with both of them today. I have Todd Jokel, who is the Dean of the Lime Academy College of Fine Arts at the University of New Haven. Yes. Welcome, Todd. And the wonderful Ellen Frank, who is the visionary founder of Cities of Peace. Hi, Ellen. Thank you so much for being here today. So Cities of Peace, what an inspiring name that is, just taken as an idea and as a concept. What is Cities of Peace?
So Cities of Peace is a celebration of the history and culture of world cities that have suffered trauma. Mm-hmm. So it has 3 components. It has the creation of exquisite art done with young people from more than 25 countries. It has peace building as part of it, as an educational arm, also as the very process of making the paintings and the process of exhibiting them. And the third, they're all exciting. The third happens to have taken an extraordinary turn in the last 2 months. The third is cultural diplomacy. So Cities of Peace is based on the profound knowledge, it's not even belief, it's the profound knowledge that art is transformative, that the power of art can build a global culture of peace and understanding.
That's so very powerful. And it's interesting because Shoreline Arts Alliance its mantra is transforming life through the arts. So how extraordinary that we're able to speak to individuals who are really making that happen on such an enormous scale, really. And I read that you had founded this organization in 2006, is that correct?
Yes.
And how did that, I'm always interested to speak to people in terms of what was the genesis, what was the aha moment that led to you saying, this is what I'm going to do?
It's a long narrative, and yet there's an aha moment. So the medium length version is I went to Jerusalem expecting to love this beautiful city, and I didn't. And I didn't know how to tell people. And I didn't know what was wrong. And when I came back, the second intifada had broken out. So I realized I was feeling the tension in the city. And I have long been interested in nonviolent solutions to conflict. And it's over the next 3 years that I realized I wanted to honor Jerusalem. So the very first Cities of Peace painting, prior to the aha moment, was Jerusalem, called Jerusalem, a painting toward peace. And the aha moment came after Jerusalem, after I was meeting with some close associates with of the Dalai Lamas, and talking about what is peace. And the Dalai Lama and his colleague gathered together Nobel Peace Laureates and charged them with this question: what's necessary for world peace? And they said, understanding. Well, I realized I was angry. I was angry at my country for bombing other countries. And my aha moment was, my anger is no different from a government's anger at another country. It's just the object of the anger. And Cities of Peace was born with the moment of recognition that I too had to give up anger in order to build a culture of understanding, and that it wasn't governments that needed the understanding. It had to begin with me.
Wow.
And Cities of Peace was born fully like Athena from the thigh of Zeus in one moment.
That's amazing. So essentially you're taking a real negative energy, which is anger, and processing that or transforming it into beauty,
That's
which
absolutely
is art, right?
right.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And did your artistic community embrace this concept immediately, or was it one of these projects that you have to sort of give birth to in isolation and then bring out into the community for them to embrace?
Well, it's both. I put a little ad on Craigslist for open call artists interested in peace and in having a visible impact. And within the first 3 months, we had artists from 17 countries come to my tiny studio in East Hampton. So the impact in an art realm was immediate. The growth to being a tiny visionary organization mandated by me and my friends, the growth to being globally mandated is extraordinary. We have invitations from 7 governments to go there, and I've just returned from Kosovo, before that from Armenia, in the midst been to Northern Ireland, been to Turkey, Germany. We're invited back to Poland for the 75th anniversary of the liberation of the camps. So Cities of Peace, building peace, is growing
Right. And you've been embraced on the macro level by governments, but what was interesting when we were speaking earlier was hearing about on the micro level this atelier concept that you're bringing in a bunch of younger people, students who you're basically mentoring. Is that correct?
It is.
In bringing this art to life. I find that so fascinating. Could you tell us more about that?
So I love young people. I happen to love all people, but I love teaching, and my academic background, I love teaching, and I love young people. So our main age range has been 18, occasionally 17, up to 26, occasionally up to 30. And it's really a belief in the breath on the painting, in the eye, heart, hand, heart, eye activity. And that these young people, it's collaborative, it's participatory from in all stages, from design to concept to creation to designing text about the work to it's going to be to docents, students taking people on the tour of the exhibition, all the way through to audience. So yes, it's participatory, it's collaborative, and it has one added quality or characteristic. In medieval guilds or Renaissance studios, the studio of Botticelli, the assistant, they were called, in graduate school we called them the hand of assistant A, the hand of assistant B. And we're sure that every participant's name goes with the work for perpetuity.
How amazing for them to be involved in a project that has a life like that far exceeds our own lives. I mean, that's so very inspiring. So Todd, how did you get involved with Ellen and this project?
Well, I think that you can hear firsthand how passionate Ellen is about this project and how ardently she believes in the importance of this. And it didn't take long for us to realize just how important it was as well. We've got an esteemed faculty member, Patricia Miranda at Lime Academy College, who is also affiliated with Cities of Peace as a board member. And Patricia, pulled me aside one day after I think it was a faculty meeting and said, Todd, I want to share with you some ideas about Cities of Peace. And it wasn't long thereafter where we were able to host Ellen and Cities of Peace at Lime, talk about what it is and that they're doing. And it dovetailed quite nicely with the things that we hold true at Lime, and that is, I'll coin another faculty member, Randy Mellick, one of our esteemed professors, the making and thinking and the thinking and making, that they go hand in hand and that they can't be separated. And Ellen mentions this, the breath on the painting, the mind, heart, hand, and that whole interaction just dovetailed quite nicely with our approaches. Additionally, this idea of art in context. It's not just the piece of art itself, but the meaning of that art, both in the artist's intent and how that relates to culture, history, the sciences, whatever the various components that the artist is bringing to that helps to contextualize it.
Right.
And this notion of painting and the creation of art as observing and recognizing and validating the sense of trauma, loss, and I think probably even more important for me is the sense of healing. That also helps to contextualize and validate as well. So it just, in those various ways, it seemed to really run parallel in a very, very strong way. And I felt that what Ellen was bringing was buoying our intentions, and I hope vice versa. And so to bring that back into our educational environment in the way that Ellen has done it with her artist groups around the world, just felt very natural, and we're very grateful and thankful that we have an opportunity to do so.
Absolutely. It seems like it's a beautiful partnership from
It's
both
so
ends.
exciting.
So very exciting.
I was going to say, I'm wanting to say everything at once. I'm wanting to say that at Lime Academy and University of New Haven, Cities of Peace is having a first. So it's actually having three firsts that we're celebrating. So this is the U.S. premiere of the Armenian painting called Yerevan to Know Wisdom. It's also the inaugural university course, Cities of Peace, Art and Peace Building. So being taught at Lime Academy and University of New Haven, and within that, it also has its own firsts. We will have distance learning. So we will be partnering U.S. students and artists, I want to cry. We will be partnering U.S. students and artists with students and artists from Kosovo first, second with students and artists from Armenia, and then next year with students and artists from Poland and students and artists from Germany. Wow. So that's extraordinary.
That's extraordinary.
And then our third first
is we're going to launch a global Cities of Peace ambassador program. So I cordially invite you, the audience, and you, and you, to come with us for the grand unveilings of the paintings, to meet presidents and ambassadors and the students, and in an inclusive world, whether it's Roma, Serbs in Kosovo, Kosovo Albanians, it's meeting those who do the creating, and you'll fall in love. And also seeing the highlights of a country and participating in the excitement of unveiling a painting that honors their city, their culture, their history.
So they have ownership.
They have
In
ownership.
the piece. And I think with art, it's so important to give people, even people who don't consider themselves to be artists, ownership in the art, because it really makes art for everyone and inclusive and empowering and all those words that we love to focus on in the community. It's such a beautiful concept. And in speaking to both of you, it just resonates so much. And what I found to be so extraordinary was when you were kind enough to share with me some smaller representations of your work. The genre, the format, this art of illumination, it glows with as much beauty and passion. The physicality of it glows. And it really mirrors what's going on in your own heart, it seems, and your brain and your soul, and just your amazing passion for this project. So I was not familiar with this form of art before. Could you share with me what art of illumination means and what it is and what the process is?
I'm delighted to. So this is, Todd is holding up Baghdad, and it's called Baghdad, City of Peace Truly. Why? Because Baghdad, until very recently, was called Dar es Salaam, City of Peace.
Right?
So what you're seeing here is 22 karat gold leaf in this pattern form, and gold leaf here, and then you're seeing it all throughout this. What I want to talk about or mention with gold leaf, just as cities are endangered, we're witnessing what we call culturicide, the death of culture, the death of monuments, the threat to heritage, the heritage of culture. We're witnessing that. We're witnessing great migrations. While we're interested in honoring and preserving cities from destruction, we're also honoring and preserving this great art form, which is lost to technology, lost in many ways, the art of gold leaf illumination, which comes with the earliest handwritten books, illuminated manuscripts in monasteries.
Right.
So we talk about, I love, in fact, from Patricia Miranda, to talk about gold as a marriage. So you can think of this gold illumination as an alchemy. And you put down first, your first surface is clay. And clay is literally earth, so it's earth to earth, dust to dust, our mortality.
Right.
First is clay, and on top of this, that I'm going to talk about on the very top, like the bedspread, the creme de la creme, is the gold. Well, so what holds, if you think of gold as the greatest good, as the purest form of light,
Right.
as if you want to call it divinity, if you want to call it purity, what holds this mortal world of clay
this gold?
to the gold? Well, glue.
It seems positively
So
banal,
glue,
doesn't it?
right.
Yeah.
Glue can be egg white.
Okay.
Glue can be garlic. Glue can be a synthetic contemporary glue. It can be fish glue.
Okay.
But guess what we talk about? We talk about the glue of intention, the glue of prayer, the glue of hope, the glue of how I marry this ideal world that we want to live in, a world that's free, where we all have jobs, we have clean water, we have
Right.
a safe earth. We can name this world. What is that marriage made of? And it's our intention. So every young person who contributes to this has intention that I very sincerely believe is recoverable by an audience who knows how to see, who knows that when you look at a painting, you're not looking, you're opening your heart, and you can actually recover from the painting the intentionality of the artist who created.
So these paintings must be imbued with so much spirit, for lack of a better word, just energy of all of these people who have literally, what did you say, it was hand to...
Well, Todd is saying mind to eye, hand, and
Yes,
art, and
yes.
I'm saying eye, but I think mind
Right.
is wonderful because, and using the word mind is wonderful, because if you take an analog, if you say, my mind is spacey, I'm spaced out, or I have so much room in my head right now. The mind is like the exhibition of in the gallery. The mind is like a built structure in which the paintings are thoughts, the paintings are memories, the paintings are triggering and teaching, and they're frescoing, they're decorating this mind that is the gallery.
Right.
But you know, you've led me to something else that I think Todd has touched on and that we need to talk about, which is visual literacy. So why is this Baghdad? Why would we call this piece Baghdad?
It must be some of the symbols that are represented in the piece, correct?
Yeah, so every Cities of Peace painting has 4 elements. Everyone has a map. So Baghdad was conceived of as a circular city with 4 gates. And it was called the Round City. It was totally unique historically. Baghdad, people don't know. The enemy, Iraqis,
Right, absolutely.
let's bomb them.
Right.
It was the greatest city on earth from 800 to 1200. Without Arabic scribes, we wouldn't have Plato and Aristotle. We wouldn't have the great classics. So Baghdad was an experiment in governance, in democracy, conceived of as a round city, 4 gates,
Okay.
and in the center the caliph lived. Well, he found that he had an inhibiting presence because he was rich and there were booksellers and merchants and he seemed to be in charge, and he removed himself from the center so that there was a free population of educators and the first library, among the first libraries and scribes and booksellers. So the border, what we did, we dropped in to the center of the map what's called a muqarnas. Well, what's a muqarnas? A muqarnas is the inside of an Islamic dome.
Oh.
And it's faceted. So here's a muqarnas, and then what is this border pattern? It's from the Al-Qatamein Mosque, the greatest Shiite mosque in Baghdad. It's called the lobed hexagon. you learn when you look at a painting and then there's text, and you look and there's text, and you look and there's text, you start to address ignorance. I'm ignorant. I didn't know that. Or I
Right.
just am uninformed or
Right.
untaught.
Right.
So the Al Qatamein Mosque was bombed March 2nd, 2004. Bombed a second time right before Cities of Peace opened at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York, January 7th, 2009. So this is fretwork from the greatest Shiite mosque. And then, what's this? This is cuneiform, the earliest non-Egyptian, the earliest form of writing that's carved into stone. It's from one of the earliest creation myths that predates Noah and the flood, predates Gilgamesh. So young participants, whether they're from China, whether they're from Honduras, whether they're from Estonia, whether they're American, they're learning this cuneiform. We can translate it. They're learning about Al Qatamein Mosque. They're learning what a Muqarnas is. And so a population of viewers during an exhibition has the opportunity to learn. From gaining knowledge, I can have compassion and understanding and build a world in which I don't want to hurt and destroy.
And I love how you put those various elements that are also interesting in isolation together in a way that's so poetic. I mean, it's just how they interplay with one another is absolutely gorgeous.
Can I also note that for the audience that's watching this on TV or online, you're seeing some smaller examples from Cities of Peace Treasure Suites. This exhibition is up in the Stillman Gallery at Lime Academy College through September 8th, and these pieces are monumental. I mean, they are 8 feet by 10 feet.
Right.
They're immersive, and there are also tombstones next to them with considerable information about that provides the context for the works.
Right.
Talking about the symbology, talking about the location, talking about that experience that Ellen and others went through in these locations. It's nothing short of extraordinary to go and immerse yourself in these pieces. As you get within maybe 4 feet, they fill your entire peripheral vision as well, and so you really do become at one with the works.
Right.
And that's an extraordinary experience that I really, invite all of the guests and viewers to come and take part in.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that is something that we certainly can't communicate here sitting with these smaller representations, which are gorgeous, but I would imagine the enormity of the physicality of these pieces has got to be just overwhelming in a very good way.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What else? What other pieces have you brought today to share with us?
Well, we were talking about you were asking about all the involvement of the students.
Yes.
So this is Lhasa, the capital of Tibet. And this is a representation of the erstwhile home of the Dalai Lama. And this is from the Jokung Monastery, these side pieces. And the top and the bottom you'll see is hands. And they're hand positions that are thought to be, these hand positions are thought to have greater meaning to the Tibetans than the spoken word, greater power.
Really?
And these are actually hands, to give you a sense of scale.
Right.
They're the hands of everybody who participated in the painting.
Wow.
We actually everyone put his or her own hands. So a young man who's an undocumented worker at the time, who begged to be part of this, who had a full 8-hour-a-day job in construction, came every morning from 6 to 9, and he drew the hands here. And young woman from Estonia worked side by side with him, with a Canadian. It's extraordinary. And the stories they share over the table of creating.
And that is just so beautiful. How long of a process is it before you actually begin to amass these people together and begin creating this art? Because the amount of research and thought and study and understanding and empathy and compassion that you bring to these individual pieces is just amazing. Is it a months and months or years or what is the process like for you?
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's,
I bet.
Everyone's engaged at all stages
Okay.
of the project. We all do research, and it's immersive, as you were saying. And it's interdisciplinary. The word now is transdisciplinary. So, yes, we're inquiring about architecture. We're inquiring about the Lingor line. We're learning about the Bon religion, which predates Tibetan Buddhism. So we're learning, and starting to synthesize. And people will say, well, what's that moment? It just like you were saying,
Right.
what's the moment when
Right.
Cities of Peace is born? I don't know how to describe it. There's a moment when it's born. And then, so there's a concept stage, there's a gathering stage, a concept stage, and yet this is also, I guess you would say, process. This isn't that, oh, it's perfectly designed, oh, now we're going to paint it.
Right.
This is, here's the idea, here's the circle in Baghdad, oh, let's drop a Muqarnas in.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
here's the Dalai Lama's home, the Patala.
Right.
Let's put the Lingor line
Right.
around it.
Right.
So the viewer is looking at a plane of the way you would look at a building, the way I'm looking at you or Todd, and then suddenly the viewer's up in the sky looking down at the Lingor line as a pathway. So you're jumping, the engaged audience gets to fly through the air, look down, stand on the ground, look up,
Right.
look forward.
Right.
So-
Amazing.
I get a
Amazing.
sense that the name of the exhibition, which is Cities of Peace, a living monument to cultural heritage and preservation, is very much in line with the approach and process, as you state, of these pieces, that they are, they really have no beginning, they have no end, that is ongoing, and that where the research begins and or the research ends and the painting begins is probably a moot point. It's not.
It's absolutely a moot point. You're right.
Right. So this is just, and there's so much more to learn, and I think that for our viewers, I would encourage you to come up to the Lime Academy and certainly spend some time with these paintings and reading more about them and the process of how they came to be and the amazing metaphors and symbolism that seem to be inherent in all of them. I'd like to quickly just, we're running out of time, but I want to quickly just draw our attention to the piece about New York.
Okay.
That you had, because this is fast. As a New Yorker myself, this is I was immediately drawn to this one, of course. So can you
Great.
just tell us briefly?
Yes, I will. And I want to say to your audience, you are invited to come and be global ambassadors for Cities of Peace, to come
Great.
with us to our countries.
Great.
So,
That's amazing.
so New York was a challenge. We were asked to do New York, and the emotion around 9/11 was very high.
Right.
And tremendous grief, anger, every range of feeling. And I wanted to bring down that emotion, to keep it from this high buzz, to bring it down to, what is New York? What is this? And New York is a city of inclusion, inclusive,ness. We're all immigrants.
Right.
We're all newbies,
Right.
as they say.
Right.
So this is an aerial view of Manhattan with the spans of the Brooklyn Bridge in
love that.
palladium leaf. And it says inside the map of New York in the island, it says, New York is my city in 30 languages.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful.
And every painting, as I said, has a map.
Right.
Every painting has precious metals.
Right.
Every painting has the symbols of the culture. And every painting has a touch of crimson leaf in honor of the dead. So here we have the crimson leaf. These are the buildings of New York, the tops of the building at the bottom, the bottoms of the building at the top.
Yeah.
It's like the left page, when you open a book, you're opening the book of New York. And there is just the quietest echo of the Twin Towers. And I was given by one of our patrons a book on New York after we finished this painting. After, out of the blue, came this idea of these two red crimson stripes. This photograph that was given to me was the setting sun on the Twin Towers when just the edges of the towers were illuminated and gleaming in the exact proportion as these two crimson lines.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, I would encourage, again, everyone to go up to the Lime Academy and see this exhibit, the Cities of Peace exhibit. Spend some time with the art. It is running between now and September 8th. And on September 7th, there's an opportunity to attend a symposium where you can learn much more about these pieces. You will be speaking, I presume. Both of you will be speaking, I presume. So what time is the symposium?
That will start at 5 p.m. on September 7th.
Okay.
And in addition, if I can say thank you for hosting us.
Thank you so much for coming.
I again reiterate our hope that your audience will come and visit this at 84 Lime Street in Old Lyme, Connecticut. And the arts are of critical importance to our world, more so now than ever, I think. And I would be remiss without thanking the Connecticut Humanities for supporting the panel discussion on the 7th, as well as our sponsors, the Rooney, Crosby, Davis, Pritchard, and Shriver families, as well as Sabre Point and Fresh Salt for their support.
Wonderful.
And so thank you very much, Ellen. Thank you for bringing this to the world.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing everyone up there.
Yes, absolutely. I look forward to seeing you up there on the 7th. I hope some people in our audience will join me. I'm sure it's going to be a very, very special evening, and I promise you that you will not be disappointed by how powerful this art is and the people that are behind the art as well. Their stories and their passion is just really, really inspirational. So I would encourage you to come out on September 7th. Ellen and Todd, thank you so very much for being with me today.
Thank
it was a
you.
pleasure
Thank
to talk to
you.
both of you, and I look forward to seeing you up there on the 7th. Thanks so much.
Thank you.